seems as we're getting a little bit deeper into the writing of Batman the Brave and the Bold. We're starting to understand from James Gunn of what this Batman might look like in the sense of his age, of his parentage, and what Robin he could have within this movie. This comes to us from Screen Rant. They say The Brave and the Bold gets new DC Universe updates from James Gunn as the movie is still in development. As there will be two Batman adaptations in live action at the same time, the one in Gunn's new superhero franchise will be a more established take on the crime fighter who has a Bat family in this continuity. However, while the reboot has been in work since the announcement in January 2023, filming has not started and will not anytime soon. In an interview with IGN, James Gunn was asked about the age range they were looking to go for with casting their new Bruce Wayne. As it was originally announced, the film would focus on him as a father, including the introduction of Damian Wayne. However, the Superman Man of Tomorrow filmmaker has shared an update on that. James Gunn said, "No, I think you have to wait to see the movie. Some things have changed. Plenty of things are in flux on what his situation is with his parentage and all that stuff. So I wouldn't take any of it." Yeah, I mean, the actor who wants to, listen, first of all, I can't tell you the amount of big actors that have told me they want to be Batman. I think you'd have a harder time finding actors who don't want to be Batman. He's the one character everyone wants to play. That's the truth. IGN asked for clarification about whether or not Damian is still set to appear as the movie's Robin. But rather than giving a yes or no answer, he responded with, "I think you have to wait to see exactly what's happening." So it seems like things may have changed to the point where they're waiting to introduce Bruce's biological son in the franchise and probably start with something more in line with a Dick Grayson or a Jason Todd. And that could potentially age down the Batman character from what we originally thought. So I want to ask you, what do you think of these comments of James Gunn, specifically talking about reassessing the parentage of it all?
Yeah, I think with the rumored departure of Andy Muschietti from this movie in terms of directing and co-writing it, I think they're going to be going back to the drawing board and figuring out what they're doing with the character. Because I can see the idea of Superman being younger and Batman being older not being the most ideal situation, wanting them to be the same age now, or around the same age at least, and having a similar dynamic, Superman not having kids, Batman having kids. I think in the comic books, the great thing was that Batman had Damian, and then shortly after, Superman had John. So they could, they're both dads at the same time.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So I could definitely see them not wanting to do that. And not seeing Batman with the first comic accurate Batman, not with a Dick Grayson Robin, because we haven't gotten that really, like an actual young
not a
Robin.
Real,
yeah, we've gotten Robin with Dick Grayson, but he was already a grown man. I want to see him with a younger actor doing that. So I do think that if Andy Muschietti is departing from it, and I do think that he should after Flash, we should get somebody else in there, and I think that they're going to be redoing that script to really fit what's going on in the DCU. I think the DCU is changing a lot. I do think Zaslav has a little bit more of a hand in what is changing in it than we expect. Because of that focus change on major characters instead of just like smaller ones, and we're not hearing much about the Authority anymore. We're not hearing much about Swamp Thing anymore.
I'm hearing it's gonna
might
be a
show. So I think he's like, okay, I got to prioritize the Justice League, which I think is what he should have did in the beginning. But I think he's realizing that now I have to do that.
Yeah, I think he's still, establishing what the Justice League would even look like. And
Yeah.
like you said, we've only had one movie in theaters, and he is fast approaching a sequel already, with Supergirl hot on the heels of that coming out this summer. So it's coming, and I think he's doing a good job of not letting Zaslav speed him up any more than he really, really wants to. I think it already kind of got messed up with Peacemaker coming out and releasing Superman early on VOD, which he I don't know if he liked that too much, or maybe that was an act and that was the game plan all along. I don't know. But right now they are reporting, basically, because he doesn't keep his mouth shut. He always answers fans, which I love and hate him for it. He is saying, when asked, will this come out before the 2030-31 year? And he said, yes, probably right before that. So we are looking at a 2028, 2029 movie, which is far down the road, at least
Yeah.
2.5, 3 years. So will we see him before that? We don't know, but a solo Batman movie looks
Technically,
like
we
it's
did.
coming after the completion of the Robert Pattinson trilogy, is what it's starting to look like.
I think technically we saw him in Creature Commandos, and I do feel like we will see him in Clayface. I don't know if it's
That'd
going
be
to
a
be.
weird way. The way that James Gunn is describing Clayface is, this is like a substance body horror movie. Like, he wants this to get nominated. He wants to show that like his DCU has range when it comes to the genre. So it
Yeah.
feels like it's less likely Clayface, in my opinion, because he wants this to like stand on its own and be a Joker one type movie, and be in that space and carve out that of the DCU is what I'm getting the sense of. But you never know. You never
Yeah.
know.
He could tack it on at the end of the after credits. It's like, well, that's not part of the main movie, and this is the part you're
Yeah.
nominating. So
I
don't
mean,
get mad that Batman's
he
in
could
there.
be right. That was Batman. No.
Just pull
uh
him.
yeah.
That'd be hilarious. You just see the
uh